Hi, I'm Frank Slater, and I'm going to show you some great things you can do with the Sonnox plugin line to really enhance your mixes. We're going to start today by listening to the track What Makes You Human by Raised by Wolves.
Slowing down, falling hard, what to my knees. This isn't how it's supposed to be. Waking up, constant pain, lasting scars. Made of clay when I emerge, you push me back down, lying on my back. You cripple the come around. Rooted from the incision, blood pours, lasting pain. Involved the collision, my back to your blade. I fought for every ounce of strength I had left. You had it out for me, my heart that you kept. Takes its toll. I'm a broken soul. I fought for every ounce of strength I had left. You had it out for me. It's my heart
So that's the track we're going to be messing with today. We definitely hear some problems in the drums. They could definitely be significantly punchier. The overhead cymbals seem to be very roomy. For this style of music, we'd like them to pack way, way more punch. And the bass can definitely be focused, being that many of us listen to our music on, little AirPods or even the speakers on our computers. So let's get started with a great plugin called ListenHub. So ListenHub is the first thing you should kind of put on when you're working through your mixes. Okay, so it has an input section. You have system, main, reference, and plugin. Okay, the two I'm going to focus on are system and plugin. I like to do all my referencing from title, so I don't have to have an extra track in my DAW. So you can see there's sound running through it right now. So let's hear what we got going on there. So there you go. There's a reference. We can quickly go back and forth, A being from our reference to our main mix, which is in the plugin. I'm also going to set up my phone so that I can control the ListenHub directly from my phone, and I won't need to keep the plugin open. So on the right side, we have different volumes. For most listening, we should be listening at the normal level. And then when we want to pump it up, when we really want to hear a mix and hear what it sounds like pushing through our speakers, go up to loud. And to do more expressive things or a little fine tuning or just to rest our ears a little, we can go to quiet and soft. It's exactly the same thing as if you had a monitor controller and you mark certain places. This is so every single time it's always in the same spot. So let's just run through those so we can hear what they sound like. So we're going to switch to the plugin. We're going to hit play.
slowing down, falling hard. What to my knees? This isn't how it's supposed to be. Waking up, constant pain, lasting scars.
Cool, cool. Let's bring it back up to normal. So we can see the variations in level, and that's going to be consistent for you every time. And mixing and producing consistent results relies on the consistency of whatever software or hardware you're using. So other things that we have is we have a dim as usual, we have a mute. Again, we can do them from the app or from the DAW. You can also listen to just the sides. So I'm going to do the sides, the mono, the left, and the right.
Slowing down. Most of me waking up, constant pain, lasting scars.
And the last little section I want to show you is, yes, we have a loudness meter, we have dynamics, and we have it. So here is an interesting section where we can actually go between our mix and our reference and take it at different parts of the frequency spectrum. So let's just go with low. And now we'll switch to our reference.
Constant pain, lasting scars.
And we already see that our loudnesses are pretty close at the same level. That's because we use the matched loudness. It's going to make it pretty close so that volume isn't dictating what we're trying to do with our mix. Because volume can always make us make silly choices and silly decisions based on what's better. It's always good to level match things. So that's ListenHub. We're going to keep that running in the background. And again, we can switch the phone at any time to work on that. We're going to come over and we're going to listen to this snare part. So let's get into the song a little bit so that we can hear just the snare. Here's what the snare sounds like. Not terrible, but there's a lot of other stuff going on in this mix. So let's bring up our Oxford drum gate. Now this has a great UI, just like all the Sonnox plugins. And because of these UIs, it really, really helps make the plugin very simple to use. We're going to use our threshold to try and grab the lowest transient. We even have match transient, so we have it on snare. So let's see what this does for our snare drum. Looks like they're all coming up. And then one of the great things about the Oxford drum gate is we can mess with the decay. We can move it to a certain area. We can shorten the decay on softer hits. We can reduce the gain reduction. And we can also raise it up. We can be getting in more decay, less decay, which is a great thing for, because other gates do not have the same kind of thing, the same kind of expression on the decay. Let's bring this into our mix and hear what it sounds like. Great. It's already starting to help give the snare more presence. Now, let's just do a quick A-B between the expander gate from Avid. So here's what the expander gate from Avid sounds like. Okay, bypass. Just put a quick setting up, almost as fast as I did on the Oxford drum gate. So if we come down, so the Avid is not nearly as intuitive or easy to use. I moved pretty much one slider on the Oxford drum gate. Boom, we had a sound going. Really, really cool stuff. So let's bypass that. Let's unbypass this. We're going to go with that sound. And now let's just see if we can get a little more punch out of our snare drum. So the TransMod is more utilitarian, which, it does its job and it does it well. When we talk about the Involution, that is a much more creative animal and is really going to help our overheads and our room mic. So with this guy, let's just see what we have here. Let's drive the input a little bit more. And let's hear what the difference of a positive ratio to a negative ratio is. So we can see with the TransMod, we can bring things forward and we can bring them back. So again, simply moving a few sliders and boom, we start to have a sound. And you notice I have the overdrive at 100%, gives it a little gain, but in a lot of the Oxford plugins, when you bring the overdrive or some type of drive to 100%, you get a soft clip. So although we're driving things pretty hard, the output is not clipping. So let's hear what both these plugins sound like in context.
Cripple that come around. Pulling from the incision, blood pours, lasting pain. Involved, ventilation, my back.
Definitely much better, much more presence, and getting rid of all the stuff around the snare drum allowed us to bring the presence up, and then we were able to bring the punch up on the snare drum. So let's try and fix these overheads. Okay, we're going to work with the overheads and the rooms and see what we have. See if we can bring those up without bringing up all the extra ambiance and stuff like that. So let's bring up the Involution plugin. It's in bypass mode. Again, you can just mess with two knobs and really get a sound going, and then add the other stuff to flavor and add its taste. So let's put it back to 0. 0, and then I like playing with this guy 0. So let's turn it on. Bring this down. Give it a little more punch. Give it a little warmth because it can't hurt. Take it out. So I feel like when using the involution in this way and taking out the sustain really brings out the cymbals and not necessarily all the extra stuff that goes along with it. It's almost as if we had tracked the drums, doing kick, snare, and toms, and then doing cymbals afterwards. So we can really bring that up without really muddying up the rest of the kit. But we also are kind of missing that ambience that was in the room the drums were recorded. So let's see if we can bring that back. This is what our room mic sounds like. So let's do the opposite. It's had a lot of warmth to it. Yeah. Bypass it. Much bigger tone. Output's a little different. Let's bring it down a touch. There we go. Now together. Let's hear the drums together. Full mix.
For every ounce of strength I had left, you had it hard. What to my knees? This isn't how it's supposed to be. Waking up, constant.
Way better. This is something I really like doing on my drums. So we're going to solo all of our drums here. And we're going to try and overdrive them with the inflator. Give them a little flavor. Give it a little bit of tape sound. So we just heard what the drums sound like, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to overdrive the input a little bit, get a lot of harmonic generation, and then we're going to bring down the output so as to not clip. We'll bring this up to 100. We want to let that go. And then I'm going to take off the band split real quick. Maybe a little too much. Bring it down. Not bad. Let's play with the curve slider. Let's try the band split, turning into 3 separate inflators. Yeah, it really helps out our bass, our kick drum. Let's try this in context. Again, with the effect at 100%, we get that soft clip limiter. That helps. And the band split, we get 3 separate inflators. So the low, the middle, and the high all get processed separately with the same parameters. Awesome. I think our drums are really coming together. Let's do a similar thing on the bass. So bring this guy over. Let's put it on the factory default setting. So we're starting over again. And now for the inflator, we don't want to go that harsh with it. We want to generate some harmonics so that we can hear it on smaller speakers. This is an amazing trick to do, and this is how all of our clients and eventually the consumers of the music will probably consume the music. So let's see what we got. Definitely helps with the low end. Let's take it out in context. Definitely brings it out and gives it some separation between the kick drum and the bass guitar. Really enjoy that. And then lastly, we're going to try and pull everything together with a room sound. So we're going to bring up the Oxford Reverb, and we're just going to take a look at it real quick. And the Oxford Reverb has a lot of things going on with it. This is just super cool, and you can create just about any sound you can think of. So we're going to use it with the guitars first. We're going to try and build some more cohesiveness within the ensemble. So let's just try a couple presets to see what the presets sound like. So ambience, we're going to go to white ambience first. So this is what you get stock with the plugin. You get these sounds first. Here we go. Not a bad sound. Let's try it again. So now we have some emulations here. We're going to use a 2.2 second EMT plate. Let's hear a little more of it. Not bad. Another emulation of a lexicon. Another plate, but this is the lexicon, the old white box. The space opens up with that one, but it kind of has a little bit more of a tail on that one too. Halls, we have Andy Halls. Let's hear that. Not bad. We can also build a slap echo with this. So effects, we go slap echo. That, and then we have some post-production. Tons and tons of presets in this one because I teach this plugin all the time. There are lots and lots of parameters to get just about any sound you can think of, either realistic, even to the point where you get unrealistic tones sometimes. So that's kind of cool, you know, but let's try and find something that actually fits what we're trying to do. Let's just pick a smaller sized room, okay? And maybe let's just pick a few different shapes. Actually, what I like to do is you can get more in depth with the EQ, but the first thing I like to do is just try and get rid of some of the mud. That always helps out. So let's listen to this room and we'll just try a couple of different shapes to see what different sounds we get. Let's hear how everybody sounds. See if we get more of a cohesive element here.
What do my knees? This isn't how it's supposed to be. Waking up, constant pain, lasting scars. Made of clay when I emerge, you push me back down, lying on my back. You cripple the come around. Running from the incision, blood pours.
Even just a little bit, we're getting a little more presence, a little more space on the snare and on the toms. It's really helping. It's even giving a little presence to the guitars as well. All right, so let's take a quick listen to everything that we finished here.
Slowing down, falling hard. What to my knees? This isn't how it's supposed to be. Waking up, constant pain, lasting scars. Made of clay when I emerge, you push me back down, lying on my back. You cripple the come around. Running from the incision, blood pours, lasting pain. Involved the collision, my back to your blade. I fought for every ounce of strength I had left. You had it out for me, my heart that you kept. It all takes its toll. I'm a broken soul. I fought for every ounce of strength I had left. You had it out for me. It's my heart you.
So we're gonna pause right there. We're gonna come back to this in a little bit. We're gonna work on the guitars. We're gonna spend a lot of time on the vocals, and then we're gonna spend some time on the mix bus. Thank you.